Jeffrey Scullin Jr. sat across from detectives and said,
"I don't remember doing anything."
It sounded like confusion, but the detective wasn't listening for how it sounded. He was listening for what didn't fit. He leaned in and asked,
"Do you remember texting Bruce for him to meet Melinda somewhere?"
A simple question, but it wasn't random, because moments earlier, Jeffrey had already opened the door himself.
"I don't think I did. I might have. I don't know."
That contradiction, I didn't versus I might have, was all the detective needed. This is a textbook example of reality monitoring theory, a psychological principle where investigators separate real memories from constructed ones by testing consistency. Real memories stay grounded. Fabricated ones shift. Jeffrey believed the fog would protect him, that confusion could blur intent and erase responsibility. But confusion doesn't erase evidence. The pertinent questions are who this manipulative killer is, what happened on that day, and how detectives psychologically trap her with a perfect bait. Welcome back to my channel. I don't have many followers, but your single comment is a ray of hope for me.
Southwest 911, what's the address of your emergency?
Somebody's been attacked in my house.
Somebody's been what?
Attacked.
What's the address?
Home. 17784 Blazing Star Drive.
They attacked who? Who was attacked? Someone get my fires.
Mel Pleskovic. Mel Pleskovic was attacked.
He was attacked by whom? Do you know?
She was. No, we just came home. She's on the kitchen floor. I took her son and my daughter outside. Her husband is inside with her now.
So the husband attacked her?
No. We just came home. You came home and
found her injured on the floor?
We found her in the kitchen. She's not moving. I took the kids and I walked outside. I didn't know.
So did she look like she was beaten or what?
She has blood all around her. I didn't look. I grabbed the child and left.
Okay, hold on.
So we have two small kids.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to get fire going. Hold on a moment.
On October 23rd, 2017, in Strongsville, Ohio, a cold, rain-soaked afternoon settled over Blazing Star Drive. The sky was gray, the streets quiet, and inside one suburban home, nothing appeared out of place. Melinda Pleskovic, a 49-year-old teacher, was expected home. Just another ordinary evening in the days leading up to her daughter's wedding. But inside that house was Jeffrey Scullin Jr., the fiancé, the man who, in just days, would officially become family. Sometime after Melinda walked through that door, something changed. There were no neighbors reporting screams, no immediate signs of chaos spilling into the street. Just silence, the kind of silence that hides violence. Hours later, Jeffrey left the house as if nothing had happened. He met Bruce Pleskovic, Melinda's husband, and the two went to Applebee's, waiting for Melinda to join them. She never did. When they returned home that night, the illusion collapsed. Melinda was lying in the kitchen, brutally attacked. Multiple gunshots, dozens of stab wounds. The scene was not just violent, it was personal. At first, Jeffrey spoke like a man caught in confusion. A burglary, a missing timeline, gaps in memory. But as investigators began pulling at the threads, phone data, physical evidence, inconsistencies, the story started to unravel. What remained wasn't confusion. It was a controlled narrative falling apart. And at the center of it all stood the one man who was supposed to protect that family, not destroy it. So cops brought Jeffrey in for the interrogation, and today we will look into the psychological aspects of this interrogation.
Open. Yeah, the sliding glass door was partially open. That's obviously something that's not normally like that.
It was cold outside.
How do you guys secure it?
There's a yellow bat and a cane that we put there, like a little yellow wiffle ball bat. That's what was in there the day the robbery thing. The guy tried to get in the house when he was pushing the door. But they put the cane there because with the bat, there's like this much wiggle room where you can stick your hand in. But with the cane, you can extend it.
So you guys switched from the bat to the cane?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I still, I put the cane up in the middle of the door, and I just put the wiffle ball bat at the bottom, just to be...
Double lock.
Yeah. Because Anna got locked out a while ago. She walked out. That door's old, so if she slams it, and when you slam it, the lock will click, and then you'll get locked out. but the garage door was locked, so she walked in and grabbed like a shovel and broke the whole lock off. That's why we started putting everything in there.
Okay.
And there's a new sliding glass door in the thing. We just haven't replaced it yet, you know, like put it in.
Yeah.
But Anna broke the lock a while ago because she got locked out and she couldn't get a hold of me or anybody to let her in.
And you just talked about or mentioned the attempted break-in at that door. Tell me about that. So
I was in the kitchen doing dishes because I made a big mess feeding the baby.
Okay.
I forget what I fed her, but it was something that I had to give her a bath and do dishes.
It's okay. That happens.
And they were in there. The big dog, the big black dog, I don't know if you met him, he's Joey, big black. He was laying next to the door, to the left of the glass door. And the cats, they jump on the door when they want to be let in. They jump on this glass door and it kind of wiggles a little bit, like, you know, it makes a noise.
They're outside.
So they're outside half the time, inside. So I just thought it was the cats. And then, you know, it made a big noise and the dog ran over and started barking like crazy. And when I rounded that banister thing, I saw the guy's hand. And I realized someone was trying to get in. But Moose, the little dog, wedged himself in the door. By the time I got it open, that person was sprinting.
Okay. All right. Let me back up there. Joey's laying by the door.
Yeah, he didn't even wake up. He's useless.
Oh, he's old.
Yeah. I know.
And then Joey didn't bark. Moose did.
Jeffrey begins this interview the same way he began the others, by flooding the room with side details. Before detectives can even settle into the murder timeline, he pulls attention toward the old break-in stories again. Because for Jeffrey, distraction has always been part of the survival strategy.
I just wanted to touch on it why it came up. Let's just go to the day of again and see if anything stands out. Just start from the beginning. You know, I
woke up.
I know you woke up and
I woke up when Anna went to work and came upstairs.
What time did you wake up?
She went to work, I think, she was leaving the house. She wanted to leave the house at 10:30. She probably left a little bit longer because I am hard to get up sometimes. So probably I'd have to say 10:30, 10:45, something like that.
Yeah. That's when you woke up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got upstairs and then she left. And then it was
What time did Anna leave? 10:45?
Probably around this thing.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you exactly. I'm not good with exact
That's
time.
right. No, I don't. You know, if you don't know, just tell me you don't know, and you know, just approximate stuff for approximate times. And who else is home with you?
Just baby, me, dogs, and cats.
Okay.
And her lunch, she had mac and cheese and ham, like a little ham roll. We
fed Aurora.
Yeah.
Lunch. Okay.
I had some mac and cheese. I had a sub from the night before, but I ate the rest with the mac and cheese.
Okay.
Got some drinks from downstairs, brought them up.
What time did you guys eat lunch? Right away, or
right when I woke up? I was hungry. That would just be lunch for her. But that basically would be breakfast for me.
Okay, so about 11 o'clock eat lunch, normal time.
Yeah.
Okay.
After that, just turned on some Barney. I lay down on the couch and I watched Barney with her. Yeah. That's what we do all the time.
Yeah.
Watch Barney and some other little show with cats and dogs being police officers or something like that on that Netflix.
Paw Patrol?
It does the autoplay after a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
I couldn't. They were green and blue Dalmatian, if that helps. I don't know if you would know.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard of Paw Patrol. So you guys watch cartoons and...
She loves watching that stuff, and she'll sit down on my lap and watch it. She sings along, and they're educational somewhat.
Yeah.
She played with... I pulled out her seesaw, her push thing, and what else was there? There were a few other toys, like her Barney dolls.
Once the conversation shifts back to the day of the murder, Jeffrey goes right back into his familiar rhythm. Routine, cartoons, lunch, weather, errands. It sounds ordinary on purpose, because the more normal the day feels, the easier it becomes to hide the moment where everything went violently wrong.
Okay. And then, how long do you stay there? Do you stay there until you go to Applebee's?
I stayed there for a bit, and I didn't go straight to Applebee's. I went back home to change, because I was covered in rain.
Okay. How long were you at your aunt's?
I couldn't tell you exactly, but I did call my father while I was there, and then I called him right when I left. It'll be on my phone, like, around the exact time I was there. I was there for a decent bit. I sat down and I had a bowl of soup with her. And then I called her. I called my dad, because she didn't know my dad was in the hospital for his hand. He has a hand infection that was in. So I told her about that, and she didn't know, but her daughter knew. I guess you're not allowed to, if you work at the hospital, you're not allowed to tell other people if someone's in the hospital.
HIPAA laws, yeah. So you went back home to.
Yeah, you could call her up as well and ask. I was covered in water, like I was drenched.
From what?
From when I got out of the car and it was all raining. Just from going to the truck, it was raining from when I got Kyle off the bus, and then getting out of her car, getting out of my car, and going into the house. I was drenched.
Okay.
It was raining like crazy that day. I don't know if you were outside or not.
Yeah, I remember it raining. I don't know how hard it was. So you went back home and
I don't know if I
went back inside, or what did you do?
No, I couldn't get back inside. That's when I was texting in and telling them, hey, we need keys and everything.
So, the key thing is to get the life of its own, because everybody has different keys. So
we all had the same. There's a whole story to this. I'm sorry.
Without going into it, I know things were lost or stolen, and everybody has different keys. Could we just leave it at that, right?
Yeah.
What key? Let's just keep it very simple. What key do you have?
At that point in time, I had no key at all.
Why? You never had keys?
No, I had keys to the garage, and then I had keys to the original front door. But then she changed it, and then she changed it again.
Those are two separate locks, right?
Yeah, they're two separate locks right now. The only person who had a key to the deadbolt was Melinda.
The key issue suddenly becomes central. Jeffrey claims he couldn't get into the house. No key, garage malfunction, locked doors. But this creates a problem, because if he couldn't get inside earlier, then how does he later walk into the exact scene where everything happened?
Like, normal walking speed. Because I heard him yelled something, I couldn't make it out. But the baby wasn't there where I left her. And I kind of went into a little, I didn't know where she was, I wanted to know where she was. I went in, I looked, saw the baby. She was just one part of the chair holding over where the tile is, the other part on the carpet kind of deal. I don't know if you know about baby carriers. Yeah.
So she's in
technically she's in the living room, but technically half of it's hanging over the kitchen. And she was crying. I picked her up, turned around, and I got a good view of all that. And
You got her out of that car seat?
No, she was still in the car seat. She didn't get out of the car seat until the officers came and asked if she was okay.
Oh, I thought you said you got her out. You saw the baby in the living room, and I thought you just said you got her out.
No, I picked her up, and I looked at her, and then I turned around and got a good view. I got her out of the house, if that's what you're talking about, after I realized what had happened. But we looked at Mel. Bruce was spiraling.
So you picked her up, and then you looked. That's when you saw Mel.
That's when I I looked for the baby seat. That's what I wanted. I wanted the baby. I don't like it when Kyle moves the baby. He's hit her a few times. It's kind of scary, but I just wanted the baby.
How often does Kyle move the baby?
A lot, to be honest.
Do you and Anna yell at him?
If he's nice to her and he just picks her up in her chair and sets her in the family room, that's fine and all. But he's a little bit jealous sometimes. And he kicked her once and he smacked her once. But that.
What kind of yell? What did you say? Bruce yelled. What did he yell? What did you hear?
I just heard him yell, like a scream. I couldn't make it out. I was outside.
Like a scream, yelling, like not angry, but scream like he's scared or angry?
No, angry. It was loud and angry. Like he yelled at Kyle. That's why I thought something was wrong with the baby when I didn't see her there. And she was crying. I guess the scream woke her up.
Then comes the turning point. A scream, a crying baby, and Jeffrey immediately redirects his focus. Not to Melinda, but to the child. That instinct may seem protective, but it also conveniently delays his first interaction with the actual crime scene.
She's hard to wake up, but if you make enough noise, she will.
Okay. So you came in, you kind of fast walk in there because you heard the scream, and then
Went straight for the baby. I
and then
literally
when
just...
you picked her up is when you turned around and saw.
I picked her up, looked at her, just saw that she was crying and upset, and turned. Mel's on the ground by the door. Bruce is by her head, like he kind of crouched down, like a, like a...
Did you like? Are you saying like you picked her up, like inspected her?
Or like this. I went like this, and I looked. I didn't see anything wrong with her. She was just really upset about something. I'm guessing the scream just woke her up. She was napping in the car. She could fall asleep just from there to Applebee's.
Okay, so you looked at her, and then what makes you turn around?
I just turned around to see what the hell was going on.
Okay.
Kyle was standing past her by the TV, like nearly at the TV by the ottoman. Isn't that what you call the little thing, ottoman?
Thing in front of the seat? Like
Foot that opens.
Footrest?
Yeah, footrest. Footrest. Isn't that what it is?
Yeah.
All right.
Turn around and what did you see when you turn around?
Mel on the ground. I didn't see the blood at first. I saw Moose by her head. I thought she just like slipped. And then,
You saw what by her head?
He was by her head. Bruce was by her head. Like he's like this, like like almost a baseball crouch kind of deal. Like catcher.
Was he facing you?
Yeah, kinda. He's more facing the door and her. Like if I was standing here and that was Mel, he was like this, looking at her. Like he was like looking at her head. And I walked over there a little bit closer and I realized I saw the blood.
You didn't notice the blood first?
Not at first. Like not really, like noticed it.
And when did you notice it?
When I looked around and got closer to her, like when I took that first couple steps to where there's three metal chairs on the counter, like when I probably ran around and got to the second chair, to be honest.
Now, Jeffrey describes the discovery, but even here, the details are selective. He claims he didn't notice blood at first, thought she slipped, and only realized the severity moments later. In high-stakes interrogations, hesitation like this isn't just memory failure. It's often narrative control.
I might have went the night before, because whenever we're downstairs, I let him out that door and I walk out with him. But that's it. Because if you don't walk out with him, he'll either run or it's like a 50-50 chance, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I do know the night before I stood up on the deck. I don't know if you saw it, we have a big laser pointer. Because he's a high energy dog. I stand up on the deck and we send him across, like with a big laser pointer, we just go, he runs across and back like 12 times, and after that he's tired and he goes right in and goes to sleep.
Okay. Let me just go over a couple of things with you. Okay. Do you know that there's cameras in the back facing your house?
No.
There is.
Where?
On the playground, Deerfield.
Okay.
And it literally hits your house, and if you're in the backyard, to the house to the right of you.
Alright.
You didn't know that?
No.
Okay. So what you're telling me isn't true. Okay, you went out there, you put Joey on a leash for a little bit. Moose never went outside. You never stayed out on the deck with them.
Well, I'm not trying to lie, I'm just saying that's what I normally do.
Okay. So with that in mind, this camera, the Thursday before this happened, someone tried to get into the house.
Yes.
Well, that camera captures the back of your house. Nobody came to your house.
Well, then someone was... Sir, I'm telling you what I saw.
But I'm telling you what was captured on surveillance camera. Our officers are there. They dust your door. That's all on camera. Nobody. You said he came to the door, you got to the door, and Moose tried to get him, tried to get out, got wedged in the door. None of that happened.
I don't know. Someone tried to open that door, sir.
Jeff,
I'm not.
You told me you were face to face with him.
I was
His hand got in.
The detective deliberately allows Jeffrey to fully commit to his version of events before introducing contradictory evidence, such as surveillance footage and phone records. By doing this, Jeffrey is not given the opportunity to adjust his story preemptively. This tactic is grounded in strategic use of evidence, which emphasizes that withholding evidence until after a suspect's narrative is established increases the likelihood of contradictions and reduces their ability to adapt.
So you couldn't have left at 3 o'clock like you're telling me. Or shortly after 3. Because you were getting Aurora ready. Okay?
That's what I texted her something that was on me.
That's the beauty of technology and phones and surveillance cameras, because it doesn't lie. So I don't expect you to remember everything to the minute, but the phones, the camera, I don't need to ask. It tells me exactly timestamp. So you're not even at your aunt's house before 5. She says you don't even get there until 6. And then by the time you left, you don't even have time to go back home and back to Applebee's.
That's what I did, sir.
Mm-hmm. Did you ask what was wrong?
No.
Because I could answer that.
No. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what? I saw somebody.
Okay. It didn't happen. Jeff, do you know where I'm going with this?
I do, but I'm never.
Where am I going with this?
You're probably gonna say that I did it, right?
Jeff, you're telling me something happened that didn't happen. You don't have to sit there and try to jog your memory, because it didn't happen. Do you know what time Melinda really got home that day? Because it wasn't at 3 like you said.
It's whenever she got home. I don't know.
Let me just tell you this. It was much later than what you're telling me. Melinda doesn't come home when you say she comes home.
What time did she get home?
Doesn't matter. It's much later than what you're telling me.
Jeffrey attempts to support his innocence through multiple side stories, such as a prior break-in attempt, issues with the garage, and his timeline involving his aunt. Rather than confronting all of these at once, the detective dismantles them one by one using evidence and contradictions. This tactic reflects belief perseverance theory, which explains how individuals cling to their beliefs until each supporting element is systematically discredited.
I've never
4,
guessed it.
5. So I questioned it. You seemed aggravated that I would even question it. That's an awfully long time to get from point A to B, run out of gas, when someone came and helped you 20 to 30 minutes after you broke down. So now, not only is the hour and a half, now the hour and a half becomes 3 hours. 3 hours from when you told me you left, and then by the time you get to your aunt's. So what happens in that time frame?
I left when she came home.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if when she walked in the door, I walked out.
Jeff,
Sorry. I'm sorry.
you okay?
I'm shocked. I don't know what's... I saw somebody.
How did you feel when we took your truck? Did you know we took your truck?
My dad told me. He said it was on the news.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think
I
about
just
that?
figured you took it.
Mm-hmm.
You took all the cars from the driveway. I didn't think anything of it. You probably had dust and everything for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we send that to a lab.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think that we found?
You probably found blood. We've cut our hands a million times in it.
Your blood?
No. I haven't cut myself in a while.
Who? Well, you said you cut yourself. You guys cut yourselves all the time. Who's we?
Me and my father.
Okay. But you never cut yourself.
Not anytime recently.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's okay.
This is where we're at. Okay. All right. This is your chance to let the weight of the world off your shoulders, because I know it's on there.
I haven't done anything wrong, sir.
Where you're at right now, okay, you could either make this better for yourself and the family, or you continue down this road where it's just going to get worse for you.
Am I being charged with something?
Yes.
I didn't do anything.
Let me tell you this. Let me just tell you this, okay? All right, listen to me.
Yes.
Okay, you're under arrest. Hear me out. You're under arrest, okay, for the murder of Melinda Pleskovic.
At this point, the interrogation changes completely. Jeffrey is no longer being handled like a grieving family member or a possible witness. The detective has now made it clear. This is no longer about gathering information. It is about confronting the man they believe killed Melinda.
Okay? So, why don't you stand up, face away from me.
I didn't do anything.
Do you have
sir.
anything on you that shouldn't be on you?
No.
No.
No, I don't. I didn't do anything, sir.
I'm going to read you your rights. Okay? I'm going to read you your rights,
I'm sorry, I can't bend my hands.
and then we're going to talk a little bit further. Do you understand? Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't do anything.
Jeff, do you have anything in your pocket?
I'm going to get a different chair for you. I'm going to get a different chair for you because we're going to sit
Go ahead
down
and
here.
look. I have my wallet in my pocket. My wallet in my pocket.
Did you have them, Greg?
That's what I'm doing.
What I'll do is I'll switch these cuffs for you. I'll put you in the front so you can sit down more comfortably.
If you need me to take off my shoes, I'll take off my shoes.
Okay. I'm going to take these here. Actually, try to sit like this sideways if you can. You comfortable? As comfortable as you could be? Okay. All right. What happened that day that would make you do something like this? Because you don't seem like the type to do this.
I didn't do anything wrong. She took me in. I never.
Right. That help me understand, help this family understand. Jeff, when I asked you, does this family get along? You said, yeah. You said it's a great family. You said they took you in. Melinda was paying for your wedding. We've talked to a number of people. You know who's the most excited about your wedding? Do you know?
No.
Who do you think is the most excited about it?
Anna?
Possibly. Melinda. Everybody we spoke to talked about how excited she was for you to marry her daughter.
I'm sorry. Can we move these around?
Are they?
Yeah. I'm like, my hands are hurting really bad.
Sure.
Jeffrey's answers are becoming shorter, flatter, and more repetitive. That usually happens when a suspect realizes the interview is no longer about escaping suspicion, but surviving the truth. He keeps saying, I didn't do anything, because he has nothing else that still holds together.
Red?
It's blood. That's Melinda's blood. You see this handle?
Yeah.
That's your DNA. I heard my boss talking to you about the burglary. I'm not going to walk you back there into our bureau. I'll let you glance over there. That camera goes right to the back of your house by the grace of God. Do you know how many times we have a case where we're looking for somebody and they could just go right off camera? Murphy's Law. Making it tougher on us. On your house, it couldn't be more on your house. It captures your entire house and backyard. That never happened. The dog never bit anybody. Who is that?
It's Melinda.
Right.
What happened, Jeff?
Futilely working on her. She's dead. Who's that?
It's my daughter.
Right. Do you want to see her ever again?
I do.
What happened?
Okay. Listen, let me make this very clear to you, how you could help this situation. Let me make it as clear as can be. And then we're going to walk out of this room, and you're never going to have the chance again. Tell us what happened, why it happened. We want to know why it happened. I have to go out to this family and talk to them. I have to go to your family and tell them. Don't make me go out there and say, you're a monster and you're a bad guy. Do you want to see her again? Because when this comes to day of sentencing, you're not going to get any breaks at all. Because you know why? Because you're going to keep it inside of you. Do you want to see her again? This is your opportunity to see her again. If not, you're not going to see her again.
I had her all day.
Do you know the difference between premeditated murder and aggravated murder is?
No.
Because I feel that you planned this from the get-go. All that bullshit that we went out there, all the stuff going on with the alarms, you got the whole community in a tizzy. That's you. All right? So how do you want to make this better? Do you want to see Aurora or not?
I do.
All right? Because I tell you right now, we're going to go after the premeditated murder. And do you know what happens with that? The death sentence. You're not going to be around very long.
Now the interrogation becomes brutally personal. The detective uses Aurora, Jeffrey's daughter, as the final pressure point, framing confession as the only path to ever seeing her again. But even here, Jeffrey refuses to move, clinging to denial as the room closes in around him.
You're at this point right here, okay? So we're in the yellow category, and and that means it's a cautionary zone, meaning I didn't see any issues on the psychological aspects, meaning this is my opinion, that you're not a person who is, this is a habitual serial kind of thing, that you're a kind of person who enjoys hurting somebody or doing something like that. Did you cause those injuries? Yeah, absolutely cause those injuries. Now what I want to do is get an understanding of why it happened. That's what we need to do, is what happened, what caused it, what did Melinda do that caused a response from you, what did you do? And what we want to do is try to get an understanding, first and foremost, that there was no plan, or it's not an intentional thing. This is very much an isolated situation that we want to move forward on, and we want to be able to verify. First and foremost, it's not intentional, meaning there was no grand plan. I'm going to go out and do something to something. That something happened that caused a reaction out of you. She said something, she did something, there's a lot of things,
The detective's first major tactic is minimization, where he repeatedly frames Jeffrey not as a monster, but as a decent person who made one terrible mistake. He tells him this was likely not planned, that he is not some deviant, and that something must have pushed him over the edge. The underlying theory here is cognitive dissonance theory. Jeffrey wants to see himself as a good father, a good fiancé, and a basically decent person. The detective exploits that inner conflict by offering him a way to confess without fully destroying that self-image.
Okay. So, did you have the knife and gun upstairs, and then she said things or said something and a reaction? I mean,
I don't carry those around.
Okay.
They stay downstairs. And
right.
Go downstairs.
Right.
I recognize the knife.
Right. Well, let's talk about, we know what happened, okay? Let's talk about why and try to get an understanding that, because you said yourself, and I'm going to write this down, I never intentionally hurt her. Okay.
I don't.
So for us to move forward, let's try to assess that intentional hurting. I never intentionally tried to hurt her. So that still doesn't mean, we all make mistakes. We all have trigger points. A lot of stress. You're getting married, you have a baby, you're living with the in-laws. She can be a little hypercritical at times.
Yes, but I would never do that. I would never.
Well, you would never intentionally do that, right?
No.
Right.
I would never hurt anybody.
Right.
I would never hurt anybody.
Right. But it did. And that's why I don't believe your intention was ever to hurt her. But you did react. And what I'm trying to do is, let's work through it together to get a better understanding.
The detective also corners Jeffrey by controlling the narrative structure of the interview. He does not simply accuse him in a blunt, repetitive way. Instead, he gives Jeffrey a script: stress from the wedding, money pressure, living with in-laws, criticism from Melinda, humiliation, then an emotional reaction. This is a classic example of narrative transportation theory in practice. People are more likely to accept and internalize an account when it is presented as a coherent story they can emotionally step into. The detective is essentially building a story that Jeffrey can enter without feeling like he is stepping straight into the label of cold-blooded killer.
I remember doing that.
Okay.
I don't even remember pulling that out.
I don't remember. Okay. I don't remember doing that.
It wasn't in the truck. I know that much.
Okay.
I was downstairs.
Well, you said earlier it was downstairs. The guns and the knives were downstairs, right? That's what you said earlier.
Yes.
Okay. So, let's do this. Sometimes it's okay to close your eyes, sit back, and go through that awful experience. And I don't mean to make you go through it, but you have to go through it. And go through it in your mind. Close your eyes. And what do you smell? What do you hear? What do you feel? What does everything feel like? What are the sounds that you're hearing? And then slowly, let's work ourselves back to something was said, that process that caused you either to go downstairs and get that, or you had it with you, maybe you were cleaning it, or you had it with you at that moment. And think about it from all your emotions, from your eyes. What did you see? What did you smell? What did you hear? What did you touch with your hands, with your feet, with your body? What was inside going on in your heart when that situation that caused that anger? What was that? Think about that. And just close your eyes and just think about it. And then let's work our ways back through it. Okay? So, what was the situation that happened that caused the reaction?
Finally, the detective uses memory-focused prompts to push Jeffrey toward internal reconstruction. He tells him to close his eyes, think about the smells, sounds, sensations, and the sequence of events in the house. That is a deliberate attempt to move him away from broad denial and into experiential recall. The theory behind this is context-dependent memory theory. Memory is often more accessible when a person mentally re-enters the physical and emotional context in which the event occurred. By asking Jeffrey to imagine what he saw, heard, smelled, and felt, the detective is trying to break through rehearsed denial and force contact with the lived reality of the crime.
What are you most scared of?
Never see my daughter again.
Exactly. Okay, let's talk about that. Then let's talk about that. That's a very fair thing to be scared of. Okay. How do you take control of the situation? Can you change the past? Can you change the past?
No.
No, exactly. I can't change the past. There's things in my life that I've done that I regret, and I'll regret to the last day of my life. But you know what? What do people do when they make decisions they regret? They don't want to go back there. Okay? They say what? I'm sorry. I did make a mistake. Okay? You can't make a person forgive you, but you can give them everything, every opportunity. You can never quit on them. Okay? And that's what you need to do with your daughter. You need to give her the truth. You need to never quit on her. You will be able to see her. You will be involved with her in her life. But if you alienate Anna, I can't control Anna. You owe Anna the same thing. You've got to tell her the truth. You've got to level with her. You've got to tell her what went on and why. You know, if it's something so callous that I hated Melinda and I planned out for weeks to kill her and then I killed her. Well, yeah, I don't think Anna's going to be forgiven of that. I don't think a lot of people would be. Let's do a letter to them, letting them know what happened and why. I'm not a great typist, so you dictate and then I'll have you double correct it.
Yeah, I'm probably just as bad as you.
Okay. What do you dear Anna?
Aurora.
Okay, dear Aurora. Okay. I want to make sure I spell her name. Aurora.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm so sorry. I love you very much.
The detective continuously invokes Jeffrey's daughter, fiancé, and family, even structuring the confession as a letter to his child. This shifts the interrogation from a legal problem to a deeply personal and relational one. The tactic is grounded in attachment theory, which posits that strong emotional bonds significantly influence behavior. By tying truth-telling to Jeffrey's role as a father, the detective increases psychological pressure to confess in order to preserve those bonds.
I was getting ready. I was super pissed off. I was throwing stuff.
Okay.
And I thought
I was pissed off. Okay.
I was
Throwing things.
I could have swore it was there. I don't understand.
What's that? I was pissed off. I was throwing things.
No, I was throwing things in the bag, the baby bag. I was trying to get the baby packed.
Okay.
But I don't.
Into the baby bag.
I thought
I was pissed. I was throwing things in a baby bag. And you know what? You're adequately explaining your anger. I was pissed off. I was throwing things in. I can see that in my head right now. Putting things in. God darn it, I'm getting the frick out of here. You wanted to leave. But something was said that caused a reaction.
Yeah, I am telling the truth. I just can't remember. I don't.
You know why that's not true? And I'm not being a jerk to you. Do you know why that's not true?
No.
Because your psychophysiological response doesn't show that at all.
I don't understand.
Look at this. Look at this. Number 5. Did you cause any of Melinda's injuries? Look at that huge response. That's because you remember. That's the only reason you have those kind of responses. Hang on. Everything's going on. Again, look at this response. It's humongous. That's because you respond. That's because you remember. Because your body's saying, when that question was, did you cause any of Melinda's injuries? Your body's going, excuse my language, oh shit. Now I've got to go back and think about that horrible day, that horrible situation. And in the polygraph world, what bothers a person, it stays with a person. Look at this. Look at a huge response.
Rather than demanding a full confession, the detective secures small admissions first, such as acknowledging anger, then a mistake, then lack of intent. Each step increases Jeffrey's psychological investment in the narrative being built. This reflects the foot-in-the-door technique, where agreement to small requests increases the likelihood of compliance with larger ones. Over time, Jeffrey becomes committed to a framework that logically leads to admission.
She went downstairs and found that stuff, I'm pretty sure, or she was looking through stuff.
Oh, okay.
She also had a piece of paper that Aurora might not have been mine for the longest time.
What's that? Oh,
An infidelity committed on Anna's
okay.
part,
Okay.
which was an iffy subject with me and Anna.
Okay.
She found that and the gun and the knife.
Okay. And then what did she say?
I don't remember, to be honest.
Was she threatening to... So she's down in your room. She sees the guns. She sees the knives. She sees, you said, some paper. Did she have the paper, or is this paper you and Anna have?
It was a paper me and Anna had.
Okay.
I don't know where it is, but she said she saw it.
Okay. And it was on a paternity test?
Yes.
Okay. So are you Aurora's father?
Yes.
Okay. But she's kind of speculating that maybe you're not.
Yes.
Okay. So,
That's the hard part.
okay. No, that's great stuff. So that goes to the why. Okay, so
I don't remember what happened after that. I'm sorry.
that's fine. Well, you know what? You did pretty well on breaks. We'll talk about it some more. I'll give you some.
Give me breaks.
When I left the room, to just give yourself some time to think.
I can't. I don't know what's wrong with me.
The detective does not wait for Jeffrey to produce a clean confession on his own. Instead, he slowly builds the story for him by supplying sequence, motive, and emotional meaning. Melinda finds the gun, sees the paternity paper, says something threatening. Jeffrey feels cornered, grabs the gun, and everything spirals from there. This is psychologically effective because it reduces the suspect's burden of inventing how to confess while still allowing him to adopt the version being offered. This tactic aligns with narrative paradigm theory, which suggests that people understand and accept reality through coherent stories.
A couple of things I want to talk to you about. I talked to some of the agents or some of the investigators. The 357 that they had was not the gun used in the shooting.
No, it's the. It wasn't the big one. There was another one.
Oh, okay.
A little revolver.
Where did you put it? Because
In the bag.
that is not that small. A small 357, like a 38.
Maybe.
Okay. So there's a small 357 revolver. That was not recovered in the bag. So we got to get that back because we can't have that sitting around. If you threw it in a lake, fine, you threw it in a lake. If you threw it in a trash can, you threw it in a trash can. But we can't let some
I put it
kid.
in the bag.
Okay, it's not in the bag. Right. You understand for public safety.
Yeah. No,
Okay,
I
that's
gotta think.
Okay.
Think.
Okay. So,
Just arguments.
okay. Well, let's get that knife situation out of it. What's the story with the knives now? Was it just a fit of rage, in the heat of the passion? I'm just going to shut up and I just tell me.
Yeah. So
What's that?
I just kind of saw right after that. It was all. I don't really understand what it was doing.
Okay. So, I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. I what?
I kind of just saw right after the first initial.
Okay. After shooting her?
Yes, and it just went off.
Okay.
After that, I don't.
Okay. So I'm putting here, I saw red. I just went off. Is that what you said?
No, after the gun went off,
Yeah.
I just saw
Okay.
red. I don't know.
Okay. How many times do you think you stabbed her?
I don't know.
Okay. You think it was more than 10?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay. But you do recall stabbing her?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
Once Jeffrey begins to admit pieces of the event, the detective immediately starts fixing him to specifics. What gun, what bag, where it was placed, whether Melinda was facing him, whether the baby was in the car, whether the knife was on the counter, and when he went back inside. This is not just evidence gathering. It is a pressure tactic. A deceptive person under increasing detail demands becomes more vulnerable to contradiction, confusion, and collapse. The theory behind this is cognitive load theory. Lying requires more mental effort than telling the truth, and forcing a suspect to maintain a complex false account while integrating new details increases strain.
That part, I don't know when she went downstairs.
Okay, so you guys were downstairs initially when she pointed the gun at you?
No, we were the whole time we were upstairs.
Oh, in the kitchen?
The whole time.
Oh, okay. This all happened, okay. So initially, so she had both the gun and the knife?
Yes.
Okay.
The knife was sitting on the counter.
Okay, had gun. And the knife was on the counter. And did she have the gun in her hand, or was that on the counter as well?
It was on the counter at first, then she picked it up.
Okay, counter. And then she also had the paper, paternity paper?
I don't know about that one.
Okay, so the knife, you walked in, she had the gun and the knife on the counter, then she grabbed the gun in her hand?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then she was screaming at you that you weren't the father?
It wasn't the father, a whole bunch of other stuff.
Well, what was some of the other stuff?
I shouldn't be here, I shouldn't be a part of her life. It all makes sense now.
Hang on, shouldn't be here.
Alright, come on with me.
Do you need handcuffs?
Huh? Hang right.
Whenever Jeffrey says he cannot remember, the detective does not treat that as the end of the road. He feeds him cues. The paternity paper, the gun on the counter, Melinda's words, the baby in the car, the kitchen, the doctor's visit, the feeling of being threatened. These cues are intended to stimulate recall by reconnecting Jeffrey to the circumstances surrounding the act. This fits encoding specificity theory, which argues that memory retrieval improves when cues present at recall resemble cues available at encoding.
I know you share some things with Lance, and do you feel a little bit better, get some things off your chest? How you and I spoke?
I'm still confused.
You are? What are you confused about?
Hey, after talking to him and looking at those pictures, stuff started, I don't know, I started realizing stuff, but I thought it left. I still don't understand some of it.
Okay. Well, can I help you understand? What are you confused about?
I thought I was at the get-go gas station. I thought I stopped for gas, but I don't understand. You know, I just don't.
What else? What else are you confused about?
Genies, I thought I got there a lot earlier, but I guess I didn't. If you guys didn't. I'm just confused about some stuff, I guess.
Do you think, Jeff, and it'd be understandable, I think that day got out of hand, and I think with the suddenness of things, I think it'd be easy to lose track of time. So I don't think you should beat yourself up over times. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. And like we said yesterday, I don't need from you like down to the minute. You know, I wanted to at least understand what happened that day and get a general idea of the times, but I think it's perfectly natural for you to not be able to recall the exact time. Now, to be hours off is another story, but, you know, 15 minutes, 20 minutes here and there, I think that's understandable. I think that had to have been a traumatic day for you. Was it?
I guess so.
Guess so? Okay. You want to tell me a little bit what happened that day? You know, I still feel, and I hope you feel the same way, like I said yesterday.
The detective immediately lowers Jeffrey's resistance by telling him that confusion, fuzzy recall, and poor time awareness are understandable after a traumatic event. Instead of attacking the memory gaps, he legitimizes them. This is psychologically effective because it removes the shame of not remembering perfectly and gives Jeffrey permission to keep talking without feeling like every inconsistency will be punished.
So she picked it up, kind of just pointed at my feet. She like pointed at me, but it was enough to be like, hey, stop. You know. I reached up, I grabbed it out of her hand. When I was like pulling it back.
You said you were pulling it back, taking it from her?
I reached up and just kind of snatched it from her. She wasn't holding it right.
She wasn't holding it right? I can't hear you, Jeff.
She wasn't holding it right, I'm sorry.
Did she just have her hand on the handle?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, nothing on the trigger?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think she was just holding it with like 3 fingers on her handle, and then she had her something else, or like a fork or something.
In the same hand?
She was holding something small in her other hand, in her hand, like it's like this.
In her other hand?
No, this. The hand she was holding.
Okay, she has 2 things in her same hand. Okay.
It was something small and black. I don't know what it was.
Okay.
But grabbed it when I was pulling it away from her. It kind of just went off. And after that, that's where it was like, I don't really exactly understand what happened.
What do you mean you don't understand what happened?
Everything's all like blurry. I don't know. It's kind of just like I lost control, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The detective repeatedly gives Jeffrey a psychologically safer interpretation of the crime, not as the act of a monster, but as a sudden emotional collapse. He invites Jeffrey into a version of events where the gun just went off. Everything became blurry, and the violence was the product of panic and rage rather than cold calculation. This tactic lowers the moral cost of confessing.
Take your time.
I went downstairs, and I thought I put it in the bag. I don't know if you guys found it or not. I hope you did. It's either downstairs somewhere, or it might be in that one bag that I used for work. I don't know.
Did you think that you put the knife and the gun in the same bag?
No, I don't know. I don't know.
What bag from work are you talking about?
I thought I put the gun in the black bag with all the guns in it.
Oh, the one that you're
One
talking
that you guys
about?
had.
Okay, you thought I put it in there.
He said no, and the only other bag I think I would put it in was like my work bag, which was downstairs on the pool table.
What's in your work bag? Like what would be in it?
Just a pocket knife and like zip ties. The zip ties shit together. I think some cough medicine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the bag that we found the gun in. That's your work bag?
Yeah.
Okay.
I used to just throw all my stuff in there.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where it was.
I threw my wallet and stuff in the one pocket. I have pens and paper in the other in case I need to write something down to remember it.
Yeah, that's exactly what was in there. The zip ties, cough medicine, cold medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't remember where you put the knife?
I don't remember any of that. I had a trouble. I was so convinced that I went to all those places. I'm still confused about some stuff.
Mm-hmm. And then what happened when you went downstairs? What'd you do downstairs?
I just put that stuff away, I thought, and then I left.
Did you change clothes downstairs?
No.
Did you have blood on you?
No.
No.
The detective carefully reveals evidence in a way that narrows Jeffrey's room to maneuver without fully overwhelming him all at once. He uses the recovered gun, the work bag, the timeline problems, and the earlier false burglary story not just as facts, but as anchors that make Jeffrey's denials feel increasingly impossible.
When you were at the house, Jeff, do you remember moving things, setting anything up?
What do you mean?
Well, once Melinda was dead, I'm sure your mind was racing. Do you remember?
I went downstairs. That's it. I went downstairs and I came up and I walked out. Is there a way to turn these lights down or something? My eyes are killing me.
There's not. I apologize. They're not on dimmers, but how you feel. Yeah, that helps.
It does.
Do you remember using Melinda's phone?
No, I don't think I did. I might have. I don't know.
You might have. If I told you about a certain text message, that would help you?
Sure.
Do you remember texting Bruce for him to meet Melinda somewhere?
No.
Using her phone? Why do you say you might have used her phone?
Everything was all blurry for the longest time. I'm still having trouble trying to figure out what happened.
Mm-hmm.
What's not real and what's real, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I could help you out with what's real and not real.
All right.
Like a gas station. If you have questions, we have strong reason to believe that you actually used her phone. You don't remember doing that? Because you say you might have.
I don't think so, but I could be wrong.
You could be wrong. You never used her phone in the past, correct? You have your own?
Yeah, I don't know her code or anything, so I don't know how I would.
Okay. Well, tell me how you feel right now. I mean, after looking back at everything, thinking about Melinda.
Sick to my stomach.
You're sick to your stomach? And why is that?
Because I've never hurt anybody before. Should have just drove away. Left everything there.
Mm-hmm. Melinda was, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, was brutally attacked.
The detective repeatedly forces Jeffrey to separate what he truly remembers from what he only thought happened, especially around a gas station, the shed, the dogs, and the timeline after the killing. Instead of arguing emotionally, he keeps returning Jeffrey to small factual checkpoints, which gradually strips away Jeffrey's invented version of events.
Was that the gun that your father shot himself with?
No, I don't think so. I don't know which one he shot himself with. I was young at the time. No one told me anything, really.
Mm-hmm.
I just know he shot himself, and it was a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
My family. That was when we were all really big into guns, and after that, no one really, goes shooting every other day.
Mm-hmm.
Always helped Dad with stuff. Guns,
When's the last time you went shooting at a range? I know your dad says he goes a lot.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
6, maybe 8 months. Very long. When
Mm-hmm.
with my brother and my dad, we used to work at B&T shooting the range over there.
Mm-hmm.
It was back when he worked there. Shot something. Shooting and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even good at shooting.
Okay. All right. All right, Jeff. Well, I appreciate your time. I'm going to walk you back, okay? You take your water with you.
Am I allowed to stand up?
Yeah, please. Yeah, we have the water.
The detective often lets pauses linger after difficult questions, especially when Jeffrey reaches the edge of memory about the shooting, the stabbing, or what he did afterward. Those silences are tactical. They force Jeffrey to stay mentally inside the event instead of escaping into chatter or a generalized denial. Jeffrey Scullin Jr. was ultimately sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 33 years for the murder of Melinda Pleskovic. Reports state that he pleaded no contest to the charges on the day trial was set to begin, and the court sentenced him to 30 years for aggravated murder, plus an additional 3 years for a firearm specification, producing the 33 years to life structure. Coverage of the sentencing also noted that family members delivered emotional impact statements before sentence was imposed. In legal terms, that sentence reflects how seriously the court treated both the homicide itself and the firearm use tied to it. It also shows that although the case did not end in a death sentence or life without parole, the court still imposed an extremely severe punishment consistent with aggravated murder involving strong forensic and confession-related evidence.